when Peter got there in college, they didn't ask him to do anything. They never said, Peter, so-and-so's dead, great. They didn't ask him. All they did was tell him she died.
Yeah.
He came and made up his own mind on what to do when he got there. He already knew what to do. He did what Jesus did and said what Jesus said to J.R.'s daughter. Why? Because he saw Jesus raise her, and he saw Jesus raise Lazarus, and he saw Jesus stop that funeral procession, all with the power of God. Peter told her to arise. You want the people on your team to not only act like Jesus, but to know the power of Jesus for themselves. Anybody in the house knows what God can do because you've seen God do it before? Anybody know that God can do it for somebody else because he did it for you? And y'all need to be on my team. Y'all need to be on my team. What your neighbor say is your team strong. So they didn't give up and they didn't get lost. First trait, they didn't give up. Second trait, they didn't get lost. The third trait of a strong team that they had was that they didn't miss a step. I know an explanation is still necessary. One of the amazing things in this story is that there is no record of anyone being surprised about the fact that Tabitha was no longer dead. It mentions that the story that the story went out throughout the land and many people believed. But there's no record that anyone was surprised, unlike other accounts throughout the Gospels, where everybody was shocked and amazed that all this stuff happened. Why is that? Because this happened in a community of believers. And it should be the same with us. They didn't stop to be amazed at what they were supposed to already believe that God could do. Peter went right back to work, staying at Simon's house, who was ritually an unclean Jew. He got up and just kept it moving. Next thing, next job, next mission. One of the most awkward occurrences in our faith is the surprise that believers always have when God is doing something amazing. If you're happy, that's fine. If you are in awe of God's power, that's fine. But the surprise is always a little awkward. The question must be asked, what God do you believe in? See, Peter had not only been with Jesus during the resurrections of the various people in the Gospels, he had also experienced the resurrection of Jesus himself. There is no reason that he should have been surprised. And the people who called on Peter shouldn't be surprised because they called on Peter. The only person that may have had an allowance to be shocked was Tabitha, and there's no record that she was shocked. Out of all these disciples, no one was surprised at what God could do. And because they weren't shocked, there was no reason for them to miss a step in their work. They just hit the ground and kept on running. They went right back to business as usual. There's a second reason that they were surprised, and that's because when you aren't surprised, you worship and praise because of your deliverance and you get back to work. The faster you get back to work, the faster God shows up all over again. And then you worship and you praise and you get back to work. And then the faster that you get back to work, the faster God shows up all over again. Eventually your experiences with God become so great and your testimonies become so numerous that you will shout, you will dance, you will praise, and you will be in awe of God's power, but surprise is the last thing that you will ever be. Listen, y'all, I'm going to take my seat, but I need you to know that you should never be shocked at what God can do. You can probably about maybe 3 months ago, I woke up in the morning and I had a headache, and I've suffered with headaches since I was probably about 8 years old. And they always just showed up pretty regularly, pretty normal. And when I was about 21, I had this really bad migraine, really bad migraine. Shut me down for about 3 days. I was in bed. When I got up, I lost motor skills on my left side. I couldn't speak correctly. I was slurring through my speech. That took about 3 months to begin to ebb away, and then found out that it took me about another year to get my motor skills back completely in my left hand, because I was still playing the piano. And we went and got CAT scans and all that stuff, and the doctor said, well, you have these things called hemiplegic migraines. What hemiplegic migraines are, it means that the blood vessels constrict when you have a headache, which cuts off blood supply, which explains why you don't have the same functions and you don't have the same speech. He said, all right, fine. Problem was, every time after that was the first time that happened, every time after that, every time my headaches get bad enough, I would once again begin to lose motor skills and my speech would kind of get messed up. Well, that was when I was 21. Fast forward, about 2-3 months ago, I wake up in the morning and I have, once again, my motor skills are kind of quirky. They're on the other side this time. It's kind of weird. My speech was a little crazy. I couldn't text the way I wanted to. I couldn't hit the buttons correctly. And my wife has been getting on me since we met, saying, you need to get that check, you need to get that check, you need to get that check. I said, hey, I had it since I was 8, you know, fine. So anyway, that day I decided, you know what, I'm going to go get it checked. I go to the doctor, I go to the doctor, he sends me in for test after test after test after test. I get all these tests. And he finally calls me back after my MRI, and he goes, listen, great news, we didn't find anything, nothing happened that morning when you woke up. But whatever you had about 8 years ago, that was a stroke. So I look at the sheet, and if you ever look at the MRI, you know what a stroke looks like. It's a big white spot. There it is. I look at the written report. Well, there it is. It's a stroke, which explains why it took so long for me to recoup, and it explains the symptoms and everything. So wow. So then it went from my headaches have gone from having weird hemiplegic symptoms to now having stroke symptoms, which completely changed the game in regards to how you approach these various issues and these various things. Well, it kind of shook us up for a little bit. We were trying to rethink how we could, move around some of our living habits and things of that nature, just in case anything else would happen. And I got a text from my cousin, and she said, hey, cuz, I heard you were walking around with a testimony and didn't even know it. My response was, everybody is. People want to know why I'm so laid back and calm in church, yet at times you might still see me praise. It's because although I may get happy, I'm never surprised.